Today, Wise News Network, we are here between Cherryville and Bessemer City at the Tryon Fire Department where a big event is getting ready to happen. It's the 250th anniversary of the Tryon Resolves. Stay tuned and learn about full history of the Tryon area. You may see your ancestors mentioned in this segment. So stay tuned for more.
Huzzah! 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 Welcome these people! Clap! 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 Thank you. We don't get them every time, people.
We also have representatives from our local press. I know that we have the Gaston County Communications Department, Wise News Network, and Lincoln Times News. Are there other news organizations that are here today? And along with all of these distinguished guests, we have many of our proud members of the National Society SAR and the National Society DAR who carry forward the legacy of our patriot ancestors. I would also like to offer special recognition to Mr. Gerald Mauser, who generously shared a remarkable historical family account connected to the Tryon Resolves, reminding us that history is not only written in documents, but carried in the lives and stories of families across generations. There are several copies up on the table for you to scan, but if you would like to have a copy emailed to you, I have put note cards and pens up here, so if you would just put your name and email address, I would be happy to email that document to you. It is too lengthy for me to read, but he was very generous to share that with us. 250 years ago, in the summer of 1775, a group of courageous men from this very region signed their names to the Tryon Resolves. In doing so, they declared to the world their determination to resist tyranny and the willingness to sacrifice for liberty. These were not professional soldiers, nor seasoned politicians. They were farmers, tradesmen, and neighbors. Yet in the face of great uncertainty, they pledged their lives, their honor, and their fortunes to a cause greater than themselves. Their courage helped ignite the spirit of independence that would carry our nation forward. Today, as we gather on this historic ground, we do so not only to honor their memory, but also to recognize the enduring spirit of unity, sacrifice, and love of country that still binds us as Americans. Their legacy reminds us that freedom is not easily won, nor lightly kept. It requires vigilance, service, and a shared commitment to the principles upon which our nation was founded. As regent of the Tryon Resolves chapter, I thank each of you for joining us to honor this milestone. To our partners in the SAR and DAR, to our elected leaders, and to all who work to keep alive the memory of our nation's founding, thank you for your dedication to preserving this heritage. May this anniversary inspire us to reflect on the past, to cherish the freedoms we enjoy today, and to carry forward the same spirit of resolve as we look forward to the future. Welcome, and thank you for being part of this historic day. I would now like to recognize our people that are going to be giving official greetings. So, State President Stephen McKee.
All right.
As you mentioned, my name is Steve McKee. I'm the North Carolina Society President of the Sons of the American Revolution. And on behalf of our 1,517 members, I bring you greetings from our organization. So one of the most important things coming up really for us as Americans is the 250th anniversary of the independency of these United States. And for a lot of people, they think that's 2026, right? It's 1 year, it's the Declaration of Independence year, and that's it. But remember, the revolutionary period itself lasted much longer than what happened in Philadelphia in July of 1776. So we're celebrating one of those events now, the 250th anniversary of the Tryon Resolves. It warms my heart to see this many people. I mean, we are packed, we're overflowing into the kitchen area in the back. And for an event that's traditionally much smaller, this is a wonderful thing to see ordinary Americans, everyday Americans here to celebrate really a seminal event in North Carolina's revolutionary history. So as Millicent said, remember, these were ordinary people, shopkeepers, farmers, wheelwrights, who decided among themselves that there were some things they would tolerate and other things that they would not. And so they gathered together, first in small groups, but in their communities, and decided together, here is what we are willing to deal with. And here are the steps we're going to take to keep it from going any further. So as we get into this 250th anniversary of the United States, I want to encourage you to continue to go to events that highlight not only our local history, but our history as a nation, right? If we know who we are, or in order to know who we are, we have to know where we came from, who we were. That will inform who we are today, and then that gives us the ability to make good decisions to who we are going to be tomorrow, so that when it's our children and our grandchildren's turn, and millions yet unborn in these United States to then assume that place as defenders of liberty, they are equipped with the knowledge and the patriotism to do so. Society, Sons of the American Revolution, welcome to this wonderful event. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and it would be remiss as the state president if I don't put in a plug for membership here. For those of you gentlemen who are interested in finding out your revolutionary history, please see us after this ceremony is over. We'll get some information in your hands. Ladies, I'm not going to steal from the state regent, but there's an organization for you too. Thank you very much.
Cricket Krigler, State Regent, North Carolina Society, Daughters of the American Revolution.
If you're a member of the DAR, would you stand? If you want to be a member of the DAR, you should stand. So, good morning to each of you. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm excited to see so many of you here celebrating the same event. So on behalf of the 8,000 North Carolina Society Daughters of the American Revolution, I extend our deepest greetings on this solemn occasion, the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Tryon Resolves. On August the 14th, 1775, 49 resolute citizens of the Tryon County pledged to take up arms and risk our lives and our fortunes in maintaining the freedom of our country, standing united under the most solemn ties of religion, honor, and love to our country and defense of our constitutional rights. So today we honor their courage and reaffirm our commitment to the ideals that they defended. May their example continue to inspire us to preserve our liberties, strengthen our unity, and serve our nation with unwavering resolve. And again, I am so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. And if you want to join, SAR, see her. And if you want to join SAR, see
I was actually inducted into the SAR, I guess about 8 years ago. Is Greg Pace who we're here today? Is Greg here? I got to give him a shout out. He actually, when I was Speaker of the State House, he said, I know you have ancestors who were here and that were at the Battle of Kings Mountain. It turned out we had 4 that were actually at the Battle of Kings Mountain. So we've been here for over 250 years. We haven't left yet. I guess we're going anywhere. But let me tell you something that sticks to me. When I was a kid, I didn't fully appreciate the history that we have right here in our community. Yep. And I know a number of folks in this room are teachers or folks who go out and teach that. And I want to thank you for doing that, because young people need to learn that, need to know that, need to treasure that the very blood that runs through us comes from these men and these women who risked and shed their blood so that we could have these freedoms today. And it dawns on me that the Tryon Resolves, in this era of keyboard warriors where people can go online and post something and say what they want and whatever, that's not what this was. These men, by signing this document, literally were risking their lives. Right. Had the war gone different, a lot of us in this room wouldn't be here now. And I think the weight of that is something that we ought to consider. And I'll tell you that when I'm in Washington, when I'm walking around that amazing historical Capitol building, and I'm seeing, and I see, for example, the charred burns of where the British nearly burned the place down in the War of 1812. And when you see historical marker after marker that's there in that city, I never forget the fact that that city would not exist, that this great nation would not exist, but for the sacrifices of our ancestors, the men and women who risked everything, the men, the over mountain men, the men who came and fought. And I got to change something. So and if you go, how many of you have been to the dome and the rotunda in the U.S. Capitol? All right, so if you have, so if you go around, you see the paintings, the historical paintings of the various battles that were in there. And there's the one of the paintings there is the surrender of General, I believe, Bastogne to Horatio Gates at, is that Saratoga? Is that where that? Burgoyne, thank you, Saratoga. And I've always felt like the turning point was down here. They really ought to take that one down. So, I just want to say, this is something that we'll do, and I'm going to do what I can to promote, because as we move into our full bicentennial year of the nation's Declaration of Independence, as Stephen said, these kinds of moments, this bravery, these actions were the acts that led to that. And I think it's an amazing thing that we're here to recognize this, to honor this, and I think we owe it to, frankly, this great nation to make sure this story continues to be told. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for having this. It's an honor to be with you today. God bless.
Well, what an honor it is to be here with so many patriots. Gosh, I can't obviously name everybody, but I do want to mention my wife, Anika, who's one of the biggest patriots I know. Boy, she's vehement about it. And I just wanted to give her a plug. And she's also born and raised in this area in Cherryville. So I wanted to say what an honor it is to be here on the 250th anniversary. And we were watching Turn the other night. And I started thinking about my grandparents who were subsistence farmers. And could you imagine having a little plot of land, a garden, a family, a roof over your head, and all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're under siege by a hostile nation state, in essence. And then you get the courage to speak against it orally. So there's not much evidence there. Then you get the courage to reduce those oral words to writing, and you leave evidence that you're rebelling. And then you become a member of an official organization. And back then, the Provincial Congress, which is a front runner to our North Carolina General Assembly. And you really put yourself on the line then when you're out in public, signing documents, making public statements, and you know your life's at risk. Your family, your crops, your home. One other thing, the women. Can you imagine the women who agreed to sign on as spies against the crown? They were at great risk. And even in the General Assembly, in a public life, we've experienced personal attacks on us. People called for boycotts against my wife's business, against my business. They attacked our daughter. So that's tough, but could you just imagine being back under siege by a hostile nation state? And so we all know why we're here. It's an honor to be here, and thank you for having us.
All right.
Wow. Thank y'all for being here. It's an honor and privilege to be here and also to serve you in North Carolina at House District 108 in North Carolina General Assembly, where a lot of the debate back a couple hundred years ago took place about what we were actually here for. Wow, Tryon resolves 250 years ago. Soon, another celebration of our country, 250 years old. God help us, we can keep it. I'm often told, yeah. Because I'm dismayed. I get dismayed upon time. My wife and I just got back from a week in Boston, Massachusetts. First time I've ever been north of the Mason-Dixon line. But what amazed me most is that I want to see all the sites, all the revolutionary sites. And we were standing at the site of the Boston Massacre, where blood was shed, where lives were lost. and kids just walking back and forth, and adults just walking back and forth, not having a clue what that spot was. And up to my right was the little portico outside the old meeting house, where John Adams read the Constitution to people of Boston the first time, and nobody had an inkling about what it was. But they all know who's dating the Kardashians. That's the problems we have right now. That's the problems we have right now. My ancestors, well, my mother's side was Carter's. He was a member of the North Carolina General Assembly. He migrated to Tennessee. His name was John Carter, he also served as a member of the Continental Congress. God bless him. Or like Tim said, they won, or maybe some of us wouldn't be here today, right? But one thing I did learn, and I share this with every young person I talk to when I go to talk to groups, is that, you hear every day about our democracy, right? Democracy this, democracy that. Who in here thinks we have a democracy? Raise your hands. We don't. We've never had a democracy. We have a republic. And what I tell the kids, I remind them of Dr. Benjamin Franklin after leaving the meeting, finally determining what form of government, after months of debate, after months of excruciating debate, back and forth, anger, arguments, some of them down at the local saloon. But they finally agreed on a republic. He walked out, a young lady, Dr. Franklin, what do we have? Madam, we have a republic if we can keep it. Help us keep it.
Amen.
God bless you. God bless our republic. God help us save our republic. Thank you.
I want everyone in this room to put your mindset back to 1775. All right? It's on this area is where Christian Mooney's home was. It was also the courthouse and the jailhouse. Now, we don't know if anyone was held prisoner here, but we do know a group of gentlemen met here to discuss the resolves to send to King George III. Now, it's easy to think of this time with a 21st century mindset, but you have to go back to 1775. I mean, Britain was the most powerful country in the world. They had the strongest military. Not to mention, most of our ancestors came here and made an oath to the crown. All they had to do was be loyal, and many were given land so they could have their farms. They could be the religion of their choice. It was treasonous to go against the king. But these men meet here to discuss the results. When we do this, I want you to pretend you're there. Think about what they're saying. What would you say? What do you believe in? But first, I'm going to let you know who everyone is. Many of them are representing our ancestors. We have Robert Alexander, who's being portrayed by Steve McKee. Christian Carpenter is Robert Riles. Valentine Mooney is Roy Lightfoot. We have Jacob Costner, who's Jeff Elmore. Frederick Hambright, Jeremy Holsley, and Tony Zeiss will portray Moses Moore. So at this time, the battles of Lexington and Concord are spreading like wildfire across the backcountry of the Carolinas. Tensions are rising, and we know there's trouble between Massachusetts and the mother country, but it's now starting to spread down here. There are a lot of committees and safety committees forming. One is right here today at Christian Mooney's house. So as we begin this dramatization, we want you to, if you hear something you like, please say, huzzah, or hear, hear. If you think it's kind of scary and you might lose your land, tell them it's treasonous. But let's go back 250 years ago and witness the Tryon resolves.
Gentlemen, please take your seats so that we may address the business of this committee. Blood has been spilled, gentlemen. We've all heard the news from Massachusetts Bay. The Army has killed men of Lexington and Concord. And indeed, there's more trouble there. And it's not trouble for anything that they have done that's treasonous or unlawful. Nay, it is simply because they stood upon their rights as Englishmen.
Sir, if I may,
Yes, Mr. Carpenter.
I pose the following question to you gentlemen. How long before such measures are brought here to North Carolina? What they do to enforce these wicked and terrible acts of Parliament, there, surely they will do here. Is it the place of free men to shrink in the face of tyranny?
Hear, hear.
Mr. Carpenter, the men of Massachusetts Bay have brought this upon themselves. What do we have here to do with tea, with taxes and trade? We are simple farmers, sir. I hear men cry for liberty. Liberty. But what of loyalty? What of obedience?
Sir, where have we been disloyal? Where have the men of Massachusetts been disloyal in demanding that the King and the Parliament respect Magna Carta,
Hear, hear.
the compact upon which the Constitution and all British law demand?
Sir,
Yes, sir, please.
this has been a long time coming, sir. This has been a long time coming, sir. For the past 10 years, Parliament has tried to subdue us. We are here to discuss what resistance we may offer to ensure our liberties, our rights. We are Englishmen.
Hear, Mr. Hambright, sir.
The men of Mecklenburg have already decided. They've declared themselves free from British chains and forsworn all obligations to the mother country. I'm not advocating that we do the same, but we must provide for our own safety and that of our families. We must resist these coercive acts of despotism, or else we should submit to them forever. Huzzah!
Gentlemen, if you will. It appears that we should not do as the men of Mecklenburg, but rather we should look to the men of Salisbury and Newburgh and Cross Creek and do as they have done, recognizing their country. We should also, of course, as has been said here, resolve to resist the tyranny of Parliament and the despicable acts of that organization. And of course of the Redcoats who are now in Boston as we speak. But I ask you to remember the words of our Lord. What's he say about this situation? We find it in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 22-21. Render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God. Now, we should not be treasonous against the just law of our country, but rather, we should be the defenders of it. I believe, sincerely, that the King will hear our pleas and will see our resolve.
Huzzah!
Very well, gentlemen. Does anyone have anything else they would like to add upon the subject?
The Continental Congress continues to petition the King on our behalf. However, the Tryon County Militia stands ready to answer the call of this committee to secure our rights against any invasion until such a time as reason and sensibility will prevail. No man here wants peace and reconciliation more than I, but I suspect every man here will do his duty. Hear, hear! Hear, hear!
And so it was, a meeting full of passion and debate, where everybody had questions and they also had consequential decisions. So in the end, the men of Tryon County did agree on an association on which pledged to follow the instructions of the Continental Congress. That force would be met with force until such a time peace and reconciliation were restored. In the end, there was a compromise, not independence, but not submission.
Gentlemen, I believe all the resolutions which we have discussed and adopted are formally now written down. All that remains then is forming our association. But before we do so, Mr. Carpenter, if you please read the following resolutions.
Yes, sir. The unprecedented, barbarous, and bloody actions committed by British troops on our American brethren near Boston on 19th April and 20th May last, together with the hostile operations and treacherous designs now carrying on by the tools of ministerial vengeance for the subjugation of all British America, suggest to us the painful necessity of having recourse to arms in defense of our national freedom and constitutional rights against all invasions, and at the same time do solemnly engage to take up arms and risk our lives and our fortunes in maintaining the freedom of our country whenever the wisdom and counsel of the Continental Congress or our provincial convention shall declare it necessary. And this engagement we will continue in for the preservation of those rights and liberties which the principles of our Constitution and the laws of God, nature, and nations have made it our duty to defend. We therefore, the subscribers, freeholders, and inhabitants of Tryon County, do hereby faithfully unite ourselves under the most solemn ties of religion, honor, and love to our country, firmly to resist by force and hold sacred till a reconciliation shall take place between Great Britain and America on constitutional principles, which we most ardently desire, and do firmly agree to hold all such persons as inimical to the liberties of America who shall refuse to sign this association.
Gentlemen, you've heard these resolves. It is something that we have agreed is necessary, and so now it is time to formally adopt them and form the Tryon Association. So in that vein, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Very well, gentlemen, the Tryon Association has been formed. I do ask that you please meet with the secretary to subscribe your name upon the document.
So I just want to quickly talk about these men. I want them to be more than just a monument out by the road. I want you to see them as the people that they were. Is anyone here an ancestor of Moses Moore? Tony's eyes. Moses was a very wealthy landowner here, and he chose in the end to stay loyal to the crown. His son, John Moore, is one of the most famous loyalists of this area. He fought up and down the South, most famously here at Ramsers Mill and Kings Mountain. But Moses' daughter, my 5 times great-grandmother, married a patriot, Joshua Roberts. So after the battle, when Moses lost his land and had to flee to Florida and died in present-day Tallahassee, Hester was able to keep her childhood home because she married Joshua Roberts. And if you don't know, that property is here in Cherryville where Walmart stands, and Hester and Joshua are buried back in there by the cornfield. We need to get a marker on those. Do we have any descendants of Jacob Costner? Okay. Well, Jacob made many oaths to the crown, including being able to be the sheriff of Tryon County. But in 1776, when he decided to break away for independence, he joined the Tryon militia. Sadly, him and his wife were trying to cross the South Fork Bend in a carriage in 1779, and the water started rising, flipped over their carriage and drowned them both. Sadly, Jacob never got to see our country be officially independent of Britain. Many of these men were actual soldiers. Robert Alexander, we all know Frederick Hambright, William Brown, Jacob Forney, a lot of them. Robert Alexander's daughter was engaged to William Chronicle. You know William Chronicle, the South Fork Boys? Well, when William Chronicle led the South Fork Boys at Kings Mountain and was shot and killed, Robert Alexander's daughter lost her fiance. But Frederick Hambright took up the cause, took over the South Fork Boys, led them up the hill on the final charge to Patrick Ferguson. So when we go outside, don't just look at the names. Many of you know you have ancestors on there, but do you know their personal stories? These are men, regardless if they became loyal to the crown or fought as patriots. It was a treasonous act that day to come here. And what they did it for us. And because of them, we are now free in the United States of America. So we need to remember them. Before we go outside, Steve's going to talk one quick thing about ancestors.
Okay, so for those of you who are descendants, I want to make sure your names get on this. But also for anybody else here, now you're going to have to sign small. But, so what I've done is we have a special set of the Tryon Resolves for the 250th anniversary. Now I've added a clause to the bottom, and you notice there's no signatures of ancestors here. It's because I didn't have room, and the plotter to make it bigger was not cooperating. So I've added this clause: we, descendants of and those honoring the subscribers of these resolves, set our hands this day of August 16th in the year of our Lord 2025, the year 250 of the Tryon Association, in the independency of these United States, 249 years. So there is it's a modern pen, so you don't have to dip in any well. But if you wish to sign your name for the 250th Tryon Resolves, you may as we exit or probably when we come back. Now, there's two other copies up here that do contain the names that we have made two commemorative copies of the Tryon Resolves as they exist with names signed. There's 50 of each. Normally we don't need 100 copies, but again, it is wonderful to see everybody. Feel free to take a copy with you, suitable for framing, whatever it is that you would like to do.
We are now going to have the color guard prepare to lead us. Yeah, per family. Lead us out to the memorial. So let's let the color guard go out first with the fife and drum in front of them, and we will follow.
Forward, march. Color guard, forward.
Drum corps, attention.
March.
To the front. March. Color guard. Left face. Post national colors.
remaining colors. Right face. To the front. March. March time. March. Color guard. Oh. Right face. Dismiss. We're going to retire in place so now everybody can know about and let them do it.
I'll try to speak as hard as you guys so you can hear me and use my teacher voice. At this point, we would like to begin the presentation of wreaths and the rendering of honors. We will start with the ladies. At this point, I would like to ask DAR to begin. We'll start with the North Carolina Society Daughters of the American Revolution State Regent Cricket Kriegler. The Colonel Frederick Hambright Chapter, Regent Renee Boss. The Carolina Emerald Chapter, Historian Don Dale. The Piedmont Patriots Chapter, Deb Early. The Mary Slocum Chapter, Debbie Hanson, Vice Regent. The William Gaston Chapter, Eva Ann Villa, Vice Regent. The Quaker Meadows Chapter, Cindy Wisnett. The Major William Chronicle Chapter, Sharon Lanier. The Vesuvius Furnace Chapter, Lisa Pupkowitz. Tryon Resolves Chapter, Regina Haynes. At this time, the North Carolina Sons of the American Revolution will present their honors, starting with State President Steve McKee. The Alamance Battleground Chapter, Steve Van Pelt. The Mecklenburg Chapter, Bill Anderson. The Colonel Daniel Boone Chapter, Tony Zeiss. The Lieutenant Colonel John Pfeiffer Chapter, John Meisenheimer. The Catawba Valley Sons of the American Revolution, Dan Beal. For the Order of Patriots and Founders, Ray Maxon. I now turn the program over to State SAR President Stephen McKee.
Firing detail. Attention. Shoulder fire locks. This one comes diagonal across this way. Okay? Firing detail. Symbol on me. Just going to be easy. That's just going to be easy. Yep, that's good. And then out of diagonal, out of diagonal. Right here. Prime and load. Make ready. Freeze it. Elevate. Elevate there. There you go. Fire. Prime and load. Make ready! Freeze it! Fire! Prime and load! Make ready! Secure firearms. Shoulder firelocks. By the right about, face. Memorial volley is complete. Madam Director, their colors are retired in place.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Three huzzahs for the 250th anniversary of the Tryon Resolves. Hip hip huzzah! Hip hip huzzah! Hip hip huzzah! Thank you folks very much for coming. This has been wonderful.
We're here with Congressman Tim Moore, and we are at a great event.
Absolutely. I mean, recognizing the 250th anniversary of the Tryon Resolves. I mean, these are foundational documents where Americans right here in our community, our ancestors, said they're not going to stand for oppression by the British government. But what's amazing is in this era of social media where there's keyboard warriors and folks say what they want to say online with impunity, these men who signed this literally risked their lives and everything they had to publicly take a stand against oppression. And it's that, that legacy that these men and the women at that time who've created that allow us to live in this great free nation.
Do you feel like these standards, these philosophies are needed in America today?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things is, this amazing, republic that we have is something that we're the most free nation in the world. And that's not an accident. And it's only because of the bravery and the sacrifice of our ancestors who formed this nation and those who've continued to serve to make sure that we have these freedoms. And we need to make sure, for example, that young people today know how important this is and this history of this region.
So this is just a hidden gem of history right here between Cherryville and Bessemer City that a lot of people probably don't even know.
Yep. At one time it was called Tryon County, and now the current counties over Tryon County would be, I guess, Lincoln, Gaston, Cleveland, Rutherford, and maybe even part of Polk County. In fact, I mean, it was a huge area, and but you had a lot of farmers, just ordinary families who were here, who took this courageous act to stand, and that's what you had throughout the country that led to our independence.
Congressman Moore, we appreciate you speaking with us.
Hey, thanks. Appreciate y'all being here. Appreciate your covenant. Because listen, folks who live here, we need to really understand and appreciate the history we have. Mecklenburg, resolved, the Tryon resolves, the major battles that happened. Of course, the Battle of Kings Mountain. I mean, the folks who live in this area descend from absolutely amazing patriots who helped make this country great and found it at the beginning.
So remember our history.
Absolutely.
We're here with William Roderick, a great historian, and today we witness a big event.
Absolutely. George Dellinger was one of my third great grandfather. He was one of the signers. His brother John was a signer. Also was descended from James Miller, and it goes back. But the one thing about the Revolutionary War around Ramseur's Mill is about the time of the regulators in 1771. Adam Reap was good friends with Christian Reinhardt. And anyway, he got in a fight with John Moore at a party at Christian Reinhardt's house. He beat him up and threw him out through the window. And that night, John Moore helped Plunder and Sam Brown steal a little black racehorse. And Adam Reap tracked that racehorse down to the Rocky River area. He killed two of Sam's men and beat up Sam, and he got hurt a little bit. And then this guy by the name of William Alexander talked him into helping blowing up the King's Powder, which he wound up being an outlaw. So the Reaps, the Reinhardts, and the Ramseurs wound up protecting him all during the Revolutionary War. And Adam Reap, he was only 16 years old when this happened, and he wound up fighting with the Burke County militia, with the McDowells. So if it hadn't been for that, those three families would have wound up being loyalists with their neighbors that they went to church with.
You know, this event brings back history and a reminder that we may not even be here, and this whole country could be totally different. if what didn't happen here 250 years ago.
And Frederick Wise's son was at the Battle of Ramseur's Mill with Adam Reap. And when they were clubbing each other, he was clubbing everybody else, and Adam says, "Oh, whoa, boy!" Says, "Hold on there." Says, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, some of them fellas done lost their sprigs of pine sprigs and don't know who's what." He said, "Well, you stick with me. I'll show you how it goes."
So Frederick's a descendant, Right. I'm a descendant of Frederick. Yeah.
All right. And the old Wise property right there was actually where the Tryon Courthouse Road crossed the Howard's Creek, and that road runs right through here. It went to Tryon Courthouse, but it also went on down to South Carolina and Kings Mountain. And part of that old road is still in there in the military park where at Kings Mountain. And guess what? Adam Reap's father was a road commissioner in 1774 when they laid this road out.
Well, thank you very much for speaking with us. You're a man of history, and appreciate you coming out today in this little warm weather, but a huge crowd.
Well, listen, we appreciate what you all do, and Wise Communications and everything else. You have got the heart and soul of the community, and we appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
What's it like to be at an event like this with a huge crowd? I mean, it was pretty packed. We were excited when we pulled in, a huge crowd.
So normally this is a pretty small event. It's really good seeing over 100 people here in attendance to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Tryon Resolves. And just like some of our speakers mentioned today, people live in communities their whole lives and don't realize the really consequential history that exists right outside their front door. And so seeing a huge group of people out here to celebrate the Tryon Resolves is really, it warms my heart and lets you know that patriotism's still alive in these United States.
And it's a reminder of our history that just a few little things could have changed the whole course of America.
Absolutely. Every decision, every event that happened in the lead up to the independency and then the aftermath, right? Just because we said we were independent, there's still a long war left to fight. And so if ordinary Americans did not decide that the cause was worth fighting and dying for, then we wouldn't be here today to celebrate these types of things.
And sir, what is it like to basically being a reenactor, but how do you get joy and fulfillment for doing this?
Well, the number one thing is when you're engaging with the public, with children, with adults who have no to little exposure about the Revolutionary War, especially the American Revolution as it took place in South Carolina and North Carolina, for them to be enlightened and to have an understanding of the significance of those events to their communities and how those events during the war between 1775 and 1783 essentially shaped who we are now in our identity as Americans. And with the cooperation of so many different organizations, the SAR, the DAR, the American 250, the SC 250, the North Carolina 250, those organizations are working together collaboratively to bring the word out about the American Revolution.
Now, you're in some plays, the play here in Kings Mountain, I've seen it, a very good play. You want to speak on that or something different?
Yeah, Liberty Mountain, the Revolutionary Drama. We've been performing in the fall. We start up September 19th as our opening. One of our big things this year is offering field trips to school groups. We have over like 300 or 400 students already signed up right now to come see Liberty Mountain as part of a field trip for their school group. And it's just really an amazing thing. I mean, monuments are made out of all kinds of materials, but I think we use drama and people and performance to create a monument to history as well. So it's really a great thing to see.
And a nice Muscatoon musket there, I see.
Yes. Oh, yeah, my blunderbuss. Yes. But I got it mostly because it's a little easier to handle at reenactment events with a smaller size. But yes, it would have been, mostly they would have, I guess, used it maybe on horseback, and that's one of the reasons it was flared at the top so it could be easier to load.
I saw some smoke rings. Did that shoot the smoke rings or one of these other ones? Or is it just random?
All of them. It's random. It's wonderful when it happens. It's really magical.
Yeah, we have the Cherville New Year shooters. It's about 100 times more of that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And the female of the group with the longest gun.
Well, now you made me feel bad. All right.
No, I just pick it. How much time do you spend on this, and what would you like to say how this means to you?
Doing reenactments or?
Well, like, do you do this every weekend? Is that, yeah, just give us a little educational.
As a member of the DAR, I stay busy, but I'm also a reenactor. We are Kingsbury's Artillery, and we have at least 1, sometimes 4 reenactments a month, because as we know, the war was won down here in the South, right? We had more battles in South Carolina, so we stay very busy all year round.
Well, guys, appreciate it. Y'all do a wonderful job on the reenactment and the theatrical part of it. And I think kids, if they can just see this, maybe they'll learn something.
Absolutely.
That they're here for a reason and for a purpose.
That's number one thing is education. Education so that people know the significance of this war and what it means to our country now.
And what's important to us is making it come alive. It's not just a textbook. It's not just a date. I don't know how it was when you were in school, but that's all we had to know was the date of the battle.
Exactly.
Making these men come alive today, making them people and humans. That's what matters and makes it interesting.
Well, thank you guys for doing this and bringing back history. It was like going back in time today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Well, ladies, it's a big event. When we pulled in and saw all the cars and all the people, and it was a huge event. What do you guys think?
Overwhelmed. This event, we do this every year, obviously not the 250th. We do this every year, but we've always had it out here and had maybe 30 to 40 people, would you say? And of course, it is a big celebration with it being the 250th anniversary. So we knew we would have a bigger crowd and asked the fire department to let us use their meeting room. Had no idea that we would have it be this well attended.
I was excited. My heart was so warmed because I have been out here for the past couple years, and I think the first time we might have had 7 people. It felt like when I participated. This has been amazing. I've seen so many people from my community, people I know, people I don't know, people I know from history Facebook pages. It has been excellent. I am so proud. I am so proud of you, Millicent. Y'all did great. We did great.
Well, events like this need to take place to educate our youth on how they got here and how America got here.
Well, I will say that I was educated. I've been a part of the DAR for a while, and I knew who my ancestor was. But Audrey and I participated in a podcast. Audrey was the lead speaker. She knows so much history about this area, so she was able to do a podcast. And after hearing her, I got so excited, and that was just probably like 2 weeks ago. And after that, I found out that I have even more ancestors that were signers of the Tryon Resolves. I didn't know that I had ancestors that were signers of the Tryon Resolves until about 2 weeks ago. So I'm an educator who keeps learning even now. So it's not just our youth that we need to educate. I feel very blessed to have learned a few things from her as well. But yes, I do agree that we do need to keep this alive and well for our future generations.
Yeah, I just learned there was a wise that got in a fight somewhere. I just heard that year at Frederick, at a meeting, and I said, okay. So I think all this area is connected in one way or the other.
Yeah, no, Tryon County, it was Lincoln County, Gaston County, Cleveland County. If you live around here, you are an inhabitant of a former Tryon County. So this is what we celebrated today, was something that the inhabitants of Tryon County got together 250 years ago, and they did something for their community, and now we are celebrating it. So,
well, thank you, ladies, for what you do, educating the public, the children, and keep it up. Keep up the good work.
We appreciate you being here and representing us today.
Getting the word out. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure. I'm Rusty Wise with Wise News Network, and I am between Cherryville and Bessemer City, North Carolina. And behind me, there's a monument, and it says the home of Christian Mooney, pioneer and patriarch, 1770. And it was the site of the Tryon Courthouse from 1774 to 1783. And we had a big event here today, a huge event. There was a lot of people with the DAR, a huge organization, a lot of dignitaries, a lot of politicians here today. So we hope you enjoyed the feature that we put before you, and stay tuned for more Wise News Network information and news. You can go to wisenewsnetwork.com, follow us on all social media. So you may see more stories like this of history, sports, all kind of good stories coming out, some documentaries. So stay tuned for more. Again, I'm Rusty Wise reporting for Wise News Network between Cherryville and Bessemer City at the 250-year dedication of the Tryon Resolves.